Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome again to the Chronic World Festival 2021. Here, Naida, on the day 9 of the festival. It's a rainy day. It rained a lot, and I was a little concerned for our people out there in the camping, but they all show up with big smile on the face. And this makes my heart feeling very relieved. I'm here today and I can't hide my excitement in introducing our guest. She inspired and still inspires many people. And actually, she was the one inspiring me in 2010 in beginning my conscious journey with source feeding. And he's here with us today, Jasmuheen. Hello, Jas.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, what a pleasure having you here. You are in Australia at the moment, right?
Yes, I am. We're not allowed to travel from our country, so we're beaming in.
Yes, spreading light from within. I will give you now the space to share with our audience, and I will be back to you later for the Q&A. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you. Hello, everybody who's present here physically in Italy, and to all of you who I know will be tuning in the period of time following this to watch all the speakers and what they're sharing once it's all up on YouTube. So I like to always feel as if, let's just pretend we're here now, because really there is no time. We're all, past, present, and future can just flow into the now. And when I was meditating before today, I had this vision of my cat. The other day, he was really out of sorts. You know, like people get sometimes where they don't know what's wrong. They're just, they don't know what they want. They're just irritated. And he was a bit like that. But I know how to deal with this. He's a very strong, young warrior, like lion cat. And I just bent down and I picked him up and just brought him to my heart. You can do this now with someone you love, animal, person. Just take a moment. Just close your eyes and imagine you are just holding this one that you love to your heart. And I did this with my cat. Now just hug, 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 but feel the love that you have for this one. It's almost as if you're a mother, the most nurturing, loving person in the world. And you have your arms around them. You're holding them to your heart. For me, it's my cat, it was. And I just started to tell him with feeling, I love you. 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 And I just felt him just lose all his irritation and be completely recalibrated by this love. And this energy then stepped into my body, and I want you to imagine it now. I felt like all the goodness, all the nurturing of the goddess type energy, the divine mother energy just flowed in behind me like a cloak moving in my body, and the cat became the earth. Just visualize this, imagine it now. Imagine you have your arms around the earth, your eyes are closed, and it's vibrating with 7.5 billion people, many of whom were like my cat and are like that. But maybe they're feeling irritated because of all the changes. Maybe they're feeling fear or concern. Maybe they're in righteousness or activism about what's right or wrong, but forget all of that. Just deep breath and just feel, imagine earth in your arms and feel all the love you have for Gaia as a living energy being and for all her children in human form, non-human form. Can you just sense it? Can you just say, I love you, 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 I love you. As if this divine energy, this most enlightened, wise, loving energy is flowing through your atoms, through your heart chakra. You're just infusing the whole planet and all sentient life on her with pure love. Can you feel it? Maybe some of you are feeling, but I don't love everyone on earth. That's okay. Maybe your human self doesn't love everyone on earth, but that pure and perfect essence self that knows everything about you and everything about everybody else, knows what our earth is going through and why, and what we've called into being. It loves completely and unconditionally. Just imagine all your brothers and sisters around you, either whether they're tuning in on Zoom or later on YouTube or here now physically with you there. Can you just feel this river of love flowing out of your heart? And can you just say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, the divine I, the essence I love you, I love you, I love you. And just feel this love just flowing out through your bodies, flowing in through all your atoms, vibrating through that 99.9% space. That's a frequency in the atomic structure. And then flowing out like sun out through the pores of your skin, out into the environment around you. We're just letting this love, light, energy that's always there vibrate through the atoms, flow through the atoms and vibrate out through the pores of our skin, as if each one of us is a sun. That, all of that, you can open your eyes now if you want. All of that is source feeding. How simple. You know, my cat just melted into me and he was recalibrated so quickly. And then when I went on to do that to the world, and I'm doing it every day, just holding Earth and all her people, imagining that I have these gigantic goddess type, loving, nurturing arms And every day, rather than getting to the mental reality of paradigms of how is this possible, or what's going on, or no, it's not possible, or any of that, which is human mentality, rather than get into any of that at this time on earth, can't we just embrace this earth and 7.5 billion people and allow this pure love to, one, flow through us, and two, radiate out from us every day to reset our world into a completely different frequency, while we reset our biosystems into a very different zone of operation. This is breakfast. We have 4 simultaneous translators, so I have to speak slowly. What we just did was breakfast or lunch or dinner. And you know, people get so caught up in asking the strangest questions, but it's all from mind, it's all from human personality self. And I wanted to share tonight about the never-ending journey of exploration of the magnificence of the human design. We have that part, the ego part, that gets very mental, very left brain, that's like my irritated cat the other night. And then we have this divine part that is so loving, that is also incredibly multi-dimensional. Now, I know when I began this journey physically, when my body went into this way of being fed 27, 28 years ago in 1993, like many, I was really trying to understand so much, like, whoa, what's happening? Is it possible? I don't understand the science. I don't understand how it's possible. Then being pushed out onto the global stage by my light being friends and asked by them to share my personal journey with it was really interesting. But you'll go through many, many phases with this. After a while, this taking physical food or the fluid game, being a level 1 breatharian, or all the labels, none of that becomes part of your reality anymore, because level and layer and zone after zone of vibrations of so much that is embedded in our bodies of light start to be freed and reveal themselves. Just because you say, yes, I am ready to experience and know experientially the magnificence of this human design. I've played where ego has been dominant. I've played where left brain has been dominant, but now I want to play in all zones as a fully integrated, aware system, multidimensional. The mesmerization, I can't stop smiling. The mesmerization of the journey of the experience of our multidimensional nature is awe-inspiring and never ending. We can spend so much time identifying with the human system, and its limitations and its desire to attain, to gain, to all of these things, or we can just relax, live a certain way, because we do share at the Embassy of Peace in our source feeding program, a very simple lifestyle, a way of spending time that allows you to naturally magnetize back, relax back into deeper and purer levels of your own self. So you're not vibrating in the beta brain, egoic human self reality where your understanding can be quite limited. And there can be confusion and fear and uncertainty and suspicion and all of that. You start to revibrate, relax, to drop back into a different brainwave pattern that we've talked about often. From that beta more to the alpha that comes when you begin your meditation journey, your yogi journey, you're doing yoga, partly doing maybe even Qigong or Tai Chi, or, you know, going into maybe a more honoring diet of maybe plant-based or even raw, just letting yourself flow joyously through stages. Because one of the triggers, one of the fertilizing agents for unlocking the magnificence of all you carry in your body of light at your core, it's a virtue game. It's a game of fertilization with joy. My light being friends always say, if joy is not your natural state of being consistently, if the experience of being able to love all sentient life purely without judgment, if it's not quite that, that's not quite your experience yet, then you have a little fine tuning to do still. And that's okay, because once you set this very clear, pure-hearted intention that says, okay, I'm ready. I'm really ready. Show me all the wisdom that I already carry encoded within my body of light. All the wisdom, the light packets of information I embedded in my light body before I took embodiment this life, so I can fulfill with joy and ease and grace all that I was born to fulfill. And you, like me, I obviously signed up before Descension to fully experience and embody this aspect of freedom. The light beings talk about it as the freedom matrix. And this last year I wrote a book. Well, they wrote a book through me. And this book is called The Freedom Matrix. It's number 8 of 42 books that we've brought in that are in 20 languages, but 8 books just on understanding this source feeding phenomena. To them, to us, it's about ascension. It's about strengthening your vital life force, your essence, your pure nature, to such a degree where you've pumped up its volume to such a degree that you have no human hunger anymore. And you hear us say this all the time. The freedom that comes when you have no mental hunger anymore. When you have no emotional hunger anymore. When you have no spiritual hunger anymore. And then, as a consequence, your physical body has no physical hunger anymore. That is source feeding. That's when you're really locked in. Some people, they come to a festival like this, or they're researching it online, beginning, and it's a lot of intellectual information gathering, but also maybe feeling your way. Maybe you'll listen to someone sharing about this and your energy response to them isn't quite gelling. They're not quite matching your pattern of energy in some way. And so you just move on and maybe do a little bit more research. But eventually, all of that must become experiential. Not experiential where you push your body so hard into something it's not ready for that you can do damage to this incredible temple. But the experience of opening up to drop into, to relax into through stasis. Stasis is a term our light being friends who are friends, there you meet them. And that's interesting. You'll find a lot of people who are source fed for a long time. They've gone intergalactic because they've gone multidimensional. When you experience the vastness of the energy matrix flowing through you, feeding you, vibrating through you, you know that you are part of something so loving, so wise, so vast, so infinite, and so eternal. And you start to connect with others who know that, who are that. And so you end up with these most amazing, higher dimensional, you could say, just different zone anchored intelligences. And they talk a lot about it is our time to know true freedom, to free ourselves from limited holistic education patterns that don't teach holism, to get educated through holistic education. And holistic education always, holistic education always is experientially based. That little hug, the earth, what does it do? It opens you and aligns you to the zone of compassion, of kindness. The greatest gift we can give ourselves is to allow this pure nature to just calibrate us, vibrate through us every day through stasis. Stasis is silence, stillness, solitude. So every day we sit down, we shut up, we disengage from this external man-made hologram, and we open up to experience our own vast, wise, loving, multi-dimensional beingness. And we're so unique. So there comes a point in your journey that you just can't even really listen to what others are saying about their unique experience in this field of research. You can to a degree, but you'll get to a point where it has to be your uniqueness, your pure teacher self, that already enlightened part of you takes dominance on the biosystem. When your pure essence nature, that very pure energy that breathes you, gives you life, when it dominates your system, you get all the guidance you need. Your journey through experiencing source feeding, but beyond that, your journey through reclaiming your freedom. Because freedom is not about not wearing masks or wearing masks or not being able to leave countries or having to endure another lockdown or any of that. Because when you are truly free, when you can be in stasis and really experience the vastness of the real energy self, the pure self you are, what's happening in the human field is so inconsequential. You are being fed emotionally by the plane of virtue. You have infinite patience. You have a much higher understanding about everything that's unfolding on earth. You can see and feel the purest love for all sentient life. You can understand that everything that's happening in our world now is a response, quantum biofeedback, to the prayers in the hearts of this human life wave to really know true freedom. So our light being friends, when they ascended their earth type worlds, when they went through their personal experience and merging back with their multi-dimensional nature, when their worlds went into a permanent zone, they permanently vibrated into the zone of true unity consciousness and freedom. They did it by revitalizing the system with source energy. That's what source feeding is about, the way we share it with the Embassy of Peace. Somebody asked somebody I know recently, they said, I hear Jasmuheen's eating again. To really laugh at its little left brain rumor ideas of, it's just so amusing. And I just had to say, just let people know I am on a lifetime journey of the exploration of the magnificence of this human design, and every level that is revealed to me has me in a state of awe and wonder. And to know and feel and have experientially lived year after year, for me 27 years. 27 years, it feels like timelessness, because level after level after level is revealed, and sometimes next level just cannot be revealed until you've really locked in a virtue. I feel for some of you, there is this virtue missing of patience. It's almost as if people want a quick, magic, easy formula that somebody could wave a magic wand and go, ta-da! You know, that's what people used to feel about the 21-day process. You know, it was like, if I do this 3-week thing, it will get me into this state of being. But it's a moment by moment by moment adjustment. How are we feeding ourselves mentally? Mental food is the biggest part of this journey. Some people's mental food is it's just not possible, and so it's not. Some people's mental food is food that is perpetuating separation. Some people's mental food is comparison. This one's better than this one, and this one's more advanced, and I only love this yogi, or I like this spiritual teacher the best, or all of these comparisons that perpetuate separation. When we play, nourish ourselves with that type of mental food, it drops us emotionally. And maybe it puts us deeper into feelings of fear, inadequacy, the comparison, the judgment of self, feeling we're not good enough, we're not able enough, or all sorts of things. And then that impacts on our physical body, almost closing us down from this beautiful, consistent, pure flow of source energy that's vibrating through all of us all the time. It's almost like it dilutes it or pollutes it in some way. So I want to just share briefly here. We have some question and answers. I know Nadia has been taking from you. But this practical thing, the greatest gift you can give yourself is to just imagine even the divinity you are, the divine aspect, the enlightened you, just hugging every day that human part, loving your human self. The more we infuse our human self with love rather than judgment, the freer we become. Hugging this world, holding the earth in our hands, our arms to our heart every day, feeling this vibration of 7.5 or more billion divine beings who walk this world as our brothers and sisters, and just giving them the fertilizer through love, no judgment, to blossom in their own way and time, because love stimulates the rising of more love. The more we love purely ourselves and each other, the more we elicit that biofeedback from the unified field of infinite potential. And the more we vibrate into the matrix of pure unity, where we are completely free from all these human limitations that are rising in our world and becoming so apparent. So that's my little sharing. Open, just open. Say yes, yes, yes in your heart, that you are ready to really experientially know the freedom matrix in your body of light to experience all its gifts. You might want to read our book on that, I don't know, or do the source reading course we have online with that. I don't know. You'll find us on jasmuheen.com. But I know you'll hear many beautiful people sharing their most unusual and very unique experiences of their journey in becoming truly, truly free. Thank you. So Nadia, questions?
Yes, Jasmuheen, thank you so much for your sharing. And questions are coming. Let me just translate them for you because they come in several languages. So from Aini, can you share something about the phases you have experienced during your 27 years of pranic living?
Yeah, you know, there's the personal journey and then there's the public one. And not everybody was born to be public with this, but I was. You know, part of my pre-dissension contract was to utilize the global media for quick release of this possibility, not as a yogi, not as anyone special, but just as a simple woman who had somehow stumbled into this freedom. And in the beginning, I just loved it. It was just like, wow, my body felt so good. I just never felt hungry. I was never feeling full. I never felt empty. I was very much in this stasis. And I still use this today. What I use is this feeling that everything is just emptiness. So there's no part of me calling attention to any other part of me. I don't really even feel like I'm confined to this body at all. In the beginning, in the very beginning, my experience of this was so intense that I didn't even feel like I had a body. And the only reason I knew I did was that I could see my shadow when I walked in the sun. I just went into such a vastness of not even so much bliss, just wowness, you know. And you could say that because you're not spending any energy at all in the digestive process, then because you're eating all the time, but differently. So it's not localized to the mouth or the intestines and then elimination, that stops. And so because you've got that energy, it is diverted into other ways. In the beginning, it really flipped my natural clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant abilities. My visions in meditation became so much stronger. My telepathy, I didn't like. It was really horrible because I could read people's minds. I could hear their thoughts. I could walk down the street and I just hear what people were thinking, and it was shocking. I had to learn to shield myself. I actually learned a lot of alchemy, what I call the alchemy of higher contact, because all through that time, I was overshadowed, you could say. I was blended into the ascended master matrix, because it was the ascended masters that brought this to the West. Serapis Bey, he was behind the 21-day process. Saint Germain was the one that manifested in my bedroom and said, time to go out into the world. You can hear all of these stories in depth on my YouTube channel in our Inspiring Real Life Stories. So in the beginning, it wasn't just my own journey and learning to deal with other people's reactions. That was interesting. But then to suddenly be on the global stage and in front of the global media and saying yes to a lot of interviews and then getting biofeedback of, you know, you're a liar, you're a fraud, you can't do that. Whereas others were saying, how is it possible? And I'd go, I don't know. I guess 22 years of meditation put me in the zone where it became natural. It was more organic for me. It wasn't a struggle. So I went through many, many, many phases that many people will never go through, because many of you, you'll never be public with this. It's not in your interest. It's not in your blueprint. But we have, I think, now about 120,000 people who have experientially proven to themselves that this is possible. Some have gone back to sporadic eating because they like to drop their energy sometimes because they miss sleeping. You know, that was something I had to learn to deal with, that my body didn't need sleep like that now. You know, I read 5 books a week more. I might sleep for 10 minutes, wake for a while, meditate for an hour or so, read for a while, sleep for a little bit. You know, it's very interesting, the gifts that come, the freedoms that come from many human limitations. And, you know, learning to deal with skeptical people, that's interesting. I learned very early on to be very careful who I talk to about this, because many people just weren't really ready. But I always found, I just said to Spirit, just bring me the right ones into my field who are ready to hear about this, and maybe who have the same blueprint in that they too agreed that this life they would be one of the ones that would be physically demonstrating this gift that is here for all when they want it, if they want to do the fine tuning. And there is personal lifestyle fine tuning required. You need training. You can't just stop taking physical food. It can be a great damage to the body. You need to make sure that there is another energy in you that can feed you in a way that is strong enough so there's no physical damage. So I've had many phases, and right now I'm just loving being off the road. You know, I've been traveling 27 years and spending 6 months of every year in hotel rooms and airports, and it's so nice not to do that. I'm loving being in my little ashram on a mountain near the beach in the high chi fields, like you are at the land in Italy now. Mother Nature's chi is powerful. Now remember, we have Mother Nature chi, we have cosmic chi, we have when we love each other and animals unconditionally type chi, but we have essence chi, this pure, true love, pure love. That's what we want to dominate the system. So I'm exploring long periods like I've never had the opportunity before, because I was a single mom and career woman, then traveler. So now nobody needs me. My grandchildren are grown, my children are in their 40s, my husband's great. I have so much time for me. It's unusual and I'm loving it. So I spend long periods in the sun, meditating, solar gazing, in silence, in stasis, being very now moment focused. Absolute surrender, no agenda. And that's, I find, when all the greatest gifts come.
Thank you so much for your sharing. And many, many questions are coming. I apologize if we won't have time to answer to all questions. I just picked some of them that might be repeated from last year's, but some I think it's important to do again to bring some clarity on people's journey. One is about the 21 days process that you shared in your first book. Yeah. And you say that it's about the dry day. And you said that the dry process, in the dry process, the spiritual body is taken off and then return with new information. And is this happening also without going dry, or what is your vision now in having dry days?
Yes. You know, some people don't like me saying this, but when I look at technology, it's like having an old phone. My first mobile phone, my father bought me, and it was about this big. It was like a brick. And it was very, very beginning technology. And the 21-day process was like a trial run. It was our light being friends giving us a gift for those of us who'd pre-agreed to experience this life. A little fine tuning with those of us who went through that process. For me, there wasn't a lot. I was close in the field from how I was living, but for some people, there was a massive tune-up. The instructions in that book, I did not write, and I would not write anything like that today because my understanding is much deeper. So Charmaine Harley wrote those instructions, and that was her interpretation of what was happening. But we never leave anywhere. We are vast, multi-dimensional beings. It's more like a rising within us of another purer part of ourselves. So this going out, coming back, that's an interesting idea, but it's not actually how energy operates. Whether we're dry or not is irrelevant. This is about love. This is a journey of allowing something so pure and perfect in you to rise and dominate the system. In the 21-day process, then, in the 21-day process, then, this not drinking was to bring people's bodies, and we were denser then, into stasis. The beings are very much into stasis. Everything stops. You are in absolute silent stillness, no digestive energy, not even processing water. When they could bring us into stasis, then there could be some fine tuning in our energy system, almost the way I experienced it then. One day in the 21-day process, I was in a field of light with these beings of light, and they were just irradiating my system. I can't tell you that they were ETs or anything. They were just beautiful, loving beings of light. And I was lying on like a beautiful table in a very holy place. And they were just radiating. They were amping up my vibrations. They were supercharging my body. And that's what it was about then. To get you to be still and to supercharge your body with a new frequency that would just fertilize the blossoming of another level in your own light body, which is connected to what they call the freedom matrix. But you can do that in many, many, many different ways, as we've seen all around the world. I hear of and meet many people. I am told that there are now about 500,000 people in training for this. They know it's possible. Their hearts are going, oh, yes, this feels so right for me, but they're at a level of mastery, which is important. You being the master of you and trusting your inner voice and following your inner guidance, because no one can bring you into this gift but you. How you're spending time, how you're feeding yourself mentally, emotionally, all of this, what you're doing with the biosystem, how you're treating it, whether you're treating yourself with kindness and compassion, whether you're treating others with kindness and compassion, all of this supercharges your system, fires up, fertilizes the revelation of all that you carry in your body of light. So I'm meeting people all around the world who are using very different methodology. There is no one methodology, you know. The 21-day process, I think personally, can be very harsh for many people. And yet at the same time for others, it can be the most beautiful spiritual initiation, a journey of trust and faith, but never to be done where there is damage to your body. Some people, they start and they feel like, my body's not handling this, and they back off. And then maybe a year later, when they've fine-tuned themselves a bit more with lifestyle, or they've embodied deeper some more virtues, they might go back and they might do it a little differently, or maybe on the second time in, it works a bit better for them, or maybe not. There's no guarantee, and there's no one system that's perfect for all. But what we have found, lifestyle, 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 lifestyle is the key. Because how we spend our time, we always say this, determines our frequency, which determines how the unified field responds to us by universal law, the law of resonance. Whatever we're transmitting from the complete biosystem, because we are systems of energy, that energy will go from source point us, attract like frequencies, and then come back to source point us. So it's personal fine-tuning until we get the right biofeedback, where we naturally and organically, without effort, I like it, without effort. Why can't it be peaceful, relaxing, joyous, easy journey? That's what I felt along the way. And the response to me was exactly, why can't it? Does it have to be a struggle? Of course not. I feel that anything that's a big struggle in life, we just aren't quite vibrating yet in the right way, because we can sail through all of these transitions in the energy of the deepest peace and the greatest joy, whether it's a transition our world is going through now as she up levels into a more unified way of being, or whether it's our personal transition as we up level into a more refined version of ourselves. And nobody has the formula for that except you.
Thanks again, Jasmuheen. And yes, definitely, we didn't come here to struggle. That's a very good point to keep remembering. The next question is about physical immortality. And what is your thought about it, since you are on this source feeding journey since a long time? And we know that with the pranic lifestyle, the body gets a little younger and rejuvenate and also repair itself. And does it can assess the physical immortality according to your downloads?
You know, when I look at my Living on Light book, I'd met Leonard Orr not too long after my conversion to source feeding, and Leonard was big on physical immortality. So I liked what he'd written and I added it there because he'd had a lot of experience traveling the world, meeting yogis. He wouldn't talk to them unless he knew they were at least 300 years old. That was his benchmark. For me personally, I just want to be as strong and fit and vibrant and healthy as I can be for as long as I want to be here, because we are already immortal. When you go into stasis, when you open to your multidimensional nature, on one phase you will go through is you'll start to connect with your past lives, your future lives, your parallel lives, and every representation of you in slightly individualized form. So here you are in the now, and the idea is to be fully empowered by the real you, by your authentic self, here now. And then what you're transmissioning through the fields is a nourishing frequency for all sentient life in all realms. Also, those individualized past life yous and future life yous. And when you start to step into future life bubbles, because it's just a hologram, you realize, oh, okay. You realize if you are connecting in that way, which I have, you realize, hey, that's a fun form. In linear time, my future self, she's very different to the me I am now. My genetic structure in linear time, in future, is not like this at all. In fact, I'm a hybrid. I have human DNA and other DNA, but my life there is so much fun. Then you can go backwards in time or go back into another form where maybe you had my last life. I was a shaman with the Lakota tribe in a big male body. I think it's fascinating. I love it. It's just like changing clothes. Why would you want to wear the same outfit forever? People are so, they're interested in physical immortality. And I think, why? You don't know what awaits you. You have, in your vastness of your multi-dimensional self, you will flow not just through linear time, but through simultaneous. And it just becomes changing clothes. When formlessness is your identity, the formlessness flows through. It's not that important, but at the same time, you want it to operate at its highest potential. So yes, source feeding does tend to revitalize you. It does slow down the aging process. Sometimes people look at me and go, oh, you're getting older, you've got wrinkles. And it's like, yes, my next big birthday is 70, 70. But I feel like I'm 17. And that's important. How strong is your vital life force? How strong is your love for Mother Earth? You're here now. Can you be fully grounded here now? Can you be a nourishing presence for all sentient life on earth here now, because you've chosen to be formlessness in form here now. And the secret is in the fullness of the here and now. Everything else is revealed.
Thanks again. We give space to other two questions, and we stretch a little the time just because we really enjoy your sharing, and we want to get as much as we can from you. Thank you for being here, really. The next question is, I feel formless, connected, and expanded. And at the same time, my physical body is experiencing a lot of discomfort and physical pain. How can I deal with that?
You know, it's a hard time on earth, you could say, because we've got Gaia, Pachamama, going through her up-leveling, her ascension process. We have energy coming in from the unified realms, from our intergalactic friends and family who are saying, hello, you've been on earth a long time, you've forgotten about us, we're family. It's like we're kids. We went away on holiday and we forgot about our family. We went and lived in another country and forgot about them. So we're being bombarded by these energies from the unified realms. We're being bombarded from the rising of energy of Gaia's frequency, her frequency of harmony. And we're being bombarded by awakened human beings who are fully aware of their multidimensional self, who are on the planet. And we're being bombarded by the energy of the millennials and many of the star beings who have come in as our children and grandchildren, who are transmitting frequencies from the unified field. Now, what this means is that anything you are carrying in your complicated, unique energy fields that is not of those frequencies, it's gonna get uncomfortable. You might have energy knots, patterns in your energy field, or influences from linear timelines, or wounds from this life. I meet people all around the world who are bringers of change. The bringers of change are usually high-level empaths and visionaries. And when you're so different to the status quo, you do get a bit wounded along the way, because we're the Pollyannas. We want everyone to live nicely together, to play nicely together. We're the ones who say, can't people just be nice to each other? Can't they just be kind? And so we're very susceptible to being wounded, especially as children, because we have higher visions that many people aren't interested in or aren't able to see or sense, but we can. So all of this is now being recalibrated in everyone. Many people tell me, I spend my time wisely, I'm living a good life, but there are times I just feel wave after wave after wave of sadness flowing through me, or loneliness, or something else, or fear. But it's all being released from the human life wave now. And the empaths and the sensitives, you can feel that. That's why we want you to tip the balance, and every day just visualize that you're holding Mother Earth, and on it 7.5 billion people like little ants, and just saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Because then instead of absorbing energy, you're radiating energy. And the more you do that, the more, even hugging yourself, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, that pure, pure love dissolves and recalibrates all those old messy patterns of energy in you as well. And then there's no pain. no pain is a nice state to come into. But it's a recalibration time.
Thanks again, Jasmuheen. Yes, only love can recalibrate. Thank you, thank you. And the last question is about the ambassador of peace and how are they operating in this apocalyptic time?
Oh, look, we're all learning to do Zoom and just beam out like this. You know, I must admit, I miss our live gatherings. I used to love it when people would come and everyone's of a different frequency and you could feel them vibrating in different ways because they're models of reality. And then you use the techniques to unify us back into pure nature pulsation and you watch those changes. Well, we can't do that now. So all of our ambassadors of peace and everybody who is a bringer of change, many offering great holistic education programs, always have around the world, they're now doing Zoom. Many live gatherings through Zoom, many pre-recorded, many gatherings that are free, some gatherings not free because people's income has disappeared. You know, for me, I was just traveling and I'm not now. And so you open up to really relaxing into true abundance because we've always been supported, all of us. So now it's like, I am here, I'm in the field, I love humanity. If I have any skills at all, then utilize them. And then all these beautiful connections happen and we're all learning to network differently, to be together differently, and to continue to share of our skill sets in whatever way people need out of just loving, compassionate hearts. And if people need to benefit by your presence or anyone's presence, they find their way. So our ambassadors of peace and those that have, you know, committed their life now to be a nourishing presence through all realms, to operate in mutually enhancing ways with everybody. That's a beautiful, pure-hearted commitment. For those of you who've all said yes, yes, yes to this, as I have, then we have, never forget, the inner net. We talk about it all the time. We have the internet, but the real fun is on the inner net, and that's where those infinite flows of wisdom come. I have a talk to give into Zurich, and I was just asking Spirit, come on, what is for these ones? And a whole new focus came in, something that I'd applied in my life just 2 weeks ago, that I want to take deeper with many others. And I know the right ones will come, just like all the ones that can benefit from being in your presence, each one of you. They'll magnetize into your field in the right way, in the right time, when they're ready. Just like you will attract people back to you too, who may be vibrating in a way that you're ready to embrace more of as well. I love, this is what I'd like to leave you with tonight, and that is this joy and love of quantum benevolence. My interest now is to experientially feel, explore that 99.999% space that is in each atom of all of us and its vibrational construct. And in that vibrational construct, there is pure love, there is wisdom, there's power. But my favorite frequency is benevolence. We live in this energy ocean of the greatest benevolence. And it's so beautiful to feel how it operates, always taking care of us, always bringing us exactly what we need when we need it, always making sure we meet the right people at the right time, filling our lives with grace and synchronicity and magic when we're open to operate like that.
Thanks, Jasmuheen, for this final message of benevolence, and thank you for being here with us. We really enjoy each one of your words. I can see all the person here vibrating with this frequency that you shared, and knowing that our inner net will be always connected. I say hi to goodbye to everyone, and goodbye to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And look, it's a never-ending journey. Step into it with joy, play joyously. This journey of self-discovery is the most important journey we could ever make as individuals in human form, because it makes us much better people. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Jasmuheen.